So welcome back to the second and absolutely final part of this course. Now we just have some few words and then some sentences and we're going to be all done. But let's start off with this one, a really useful word, wei, fourth tone, hello. And this is a greeting phrase that is very tightly connected with telephones. You would almost never greet someone with wei except for when you answer your phone. But there you always use it. Sometimes it might sound as if this is a second tone because you often have a very positive tone when answering your phone. And tone 2 tends to sound a bit more positive. You say like, wei, but originally it's a tone 4, so wei, fourth tone. 工程师, 工程师, first tone, second tone, and then first tone again. Engineer. And 工程 means engineering, and 师 means master. So this is what you would call yourself as an engineer who has graduated. So 工程师, an engineer. 问题, 问题, fourth tone, second tone, question. And 问 on its own is the verb, which means then to ask something. And when you add 题, it becomes the noun. So 问题, a question. 打电话, 打电话, a third tone followed by 2 fourth tones. Make a phone call. And this word requires some more explanation. First we have 打, third tone, which originally means to hit. But it has become sort of a general word for just interacting with things that doesn't have a natural verb for that. So if you hear 打 somewhere where it sounds like it sounds weird that you would be hitting something, then it's probably just a way of describing some sort of interaction with a noun. And the second part, 电话, means telephone. And there's another one of those combination words with 电, which meant electricity, right? So this time we have 电 followed by 话, which means language. So 电话 literally means electric language. So put them together and we get 打电话, a verb that interacts with a phone, of course means make a phone call. 机器, 机器, first tone followed by a fourth tone, machine. 机, as you might recognize from 飞机, airplane, which literally meant flying machine, right? And then this 器 also means machine. And can be seen in several combination words. So together they just mean a generic machine. 机器. 电脑, 电脑, fourth tone, third tone, computer. This might actually be my absolute favorite word when it comes to logically structured Chinese words. And I mean, the competition there is fierce. But once again, we have one of those combination words with 电, which meant electricity. And this time it's with 脑, which means brain. So electronic brain in Chinese is computer. Genius. And 电脑, computer. 媒体, 媒体, second tone, third tone, media. And we'll use this word as kind of the modern implication of the word with media content that you would consume, for example, through your smartphone on YouTube or, well, not YouTube because that's kind of blocked in China, but other services. But we'll see some examples of that in just a bit. 媒体, media. Another one of those words that is typical for engineers is 科技, 科技, technology, and very similar to last week where we had 技术, which basically also means technology, and they are very similar. So this is basically just another way of saying technology. 科技. 种, 种. Third tone, and this is the final measure word that you will learn here. It's kind of generic in its usage. Works, for example, for people or for books, but also with the word things, 东西, which makes it really generic. So 种, a measure word for things. It's not as wide as 个, but it's very broad in its range. So finally, we have reached the last word of this course. Great work. This is a word that will impress Chinese people a lot, that you know, but they will probably not expect you to know it at all. So don't be surprised if they do not understand, even though you say it correctly, since they simply don't expect this kind of vocabulary to come out of your mouth. But anyway, the word is 石墨烯, 石墨烯, which literally means thin graphite. So 石 means stone, 墨 means ink. And together they form graphite. I think it's pretty logical. Stone, ink, it's kind of graphite. Makes sense. And then 烯 means thin. So if you have thin graphite, you get graphene. 石墨烯. So that was actually the final word of this course. Now only the final sentences remain. Let's jump straight to them. Alright, so we'll start with the first sentence. 这本书多少钱? So this book, 这本书, 本 is the measure word, as you know. 多少, how much? 钱, money. So this book, how much money? How much is this book? Second, we have 中国的钱叫人民币. 中国, China, 的 possession, 钱, so China's money, 叫 is called 人民币, RMB. Alright? Third sentence. 我想买一张飞机票. I want to 想买 buy 一张. So 张 is the measure word. We knew it from tables, but 张 is the measure word for flat things. So ticket is usually pretty flat. So it works great here too. So 一张飞机票. 飞机 is airplane, right? And then we have 票, ticket. So I want to buy one measure word airplane ticket. As for the fourth sentence, we have a great structure that we need to learn. We have this question, 你高不高兴? 你高不高兴? So you might think this, because we knew that 高 means tall, so you might think that it has something to do with tall, but it doesn't. It's actually this 高兴, which meant happy, right? But when you have it as an alternative like this, you might think that you'd say 你高兴不高兴? A Chinese person would understand that, but they would not say it themselves. Because when you use this alternative way of asking questions, then you cut these two character words in half in the first alternative. So you say 你高不高兴 when you actually mean 你高兴不高兴. But you just cut it short because it's easier to say. So 你高不高兴? Are you happy? Fifth sentence. 我在哥德堡科技大学学习. So I, location at, 哥德堡, Gothenburg, 科技, technology. This is the addition from the previous version of this sentence that we learned. 大学, university, 学习, study. So I at Gothenburg Technological University study. I study at Gothenburg University of Technology, which we know doesn't exist, but we can say that when we're referring to Chalmers. And as for the final sentence, it's going to be pretty difficult, but that's what you need. 我们在电视和电脑都能看媒体. Okay, so this has got some structures that we need to look at. First off, we have 我们, we. 在, location, so in or at. 电视, television. 和, and. 电脑, computer. So we, in the television and in the computer. 都, this means all. Is something we looked at a couple of weeks ago. And when you have two kind of entities before do, you can even have more than that. Then when you add the do, you refer back to all of them. In this case, both of them. So when we say 我们在电视和电脑都, both is what we mean. So both on the TV and on the computer. 能 看媒体 能 can or be able to 看 see 媒体 media. So we on the TV and on the computer both are able to watch media. And in English, the order would be we can watch media on both the TV and the computer. So that was actually the final sentence of the entire course. We still have a few lessons where we will be able to repeat old content, but that will be done offline in the classroom. So I'm happy to say good luck with your further studies in Chinese, and still see you in class.